Hello students. So in the last class I have sent you the link where you have studied the chapter. We have seen different phases of grandmother's life, that how she was when she was in village and what were the transformation that actually changed her when she was in city. See, the very important feature that we will see in this chapter is a very change or difference between village life and city life. When grandmother was in village, she was completely free. She was on her own. She used to move here and there. She used to go to temples. She used to give stale chapatis to the stray dogs. Now when she is in city, she is not getting that environment. Remember, she is not getting that environment. She has to sit in the small city house only. What actually she does over there? She only counts the rosary beds. And the biggest change that occurred in her life is when she was in village, Khushwant Singh, the author, he used to go to temple or the school nearby. So whatever they taught Khushwant Singh over there, the teachers in village, whatever they taught Mr. Khushwant Singh in village, actually that was relatable to grandmother. She could understand that yes, Mr. Khushwant Singh is being taught this mantra, these things. But when he arrived in city, when he started to live with his parents, so he went to a big school, English school, and different chapters were there, different subjects were there. So it was difficult for grandmother to cope up with that. Earlier, whatever he was being taught, it was easy for her to cope up. Now it was difficult for grandmother to cope up with that. English was very new language for her, and other dance classes, mathematics, science, arithmetic, these are very new to her. That's why she has a slight dislike for this modern education. When you will read the chapter, you will see once it has been written clearly that when grandmother she get the notice that dance and special class of music were arranged in school, she showed her disappointment. She said that it's not a work of gentleman. She thought that my son, he is my grandson, we sent him to school to become a gentleman, and they are actually teaching him dance, art, culture. So she still the notion that this dance, singing, these are the basic feature of a beggar or someone who belongs to that field. So she was a bit disappointed. Anyhow, I have already started. Let us move further. That when I decided to go abroad for further studies, I was sure my grandmother would be upset. I have already mentioned it, but she was a very smart lady. She understands everything very well, and she was not upset. She understood this, that my grandson is going to abroad for his betterment. So instead of being very slaggy and sad, sitting all alone, she was very bold and she herself went to station. She herself went to station to drop him. I had to give him a adieu. I would be away for 5 years, and at her age, one could never tell. One could never tell what? One could never tell that whether when I'll come back after 5 years, she's so old, I'll be able to see her again or not. But still, she was very mature. She showed her maturity. She embraces the situation with great heart, and she herself went. Remember. But my grandmother could. She was not even sentimental. Actually, while writing this, the author Khushwant Singh, he wanted us to show that how mature she was. She was not like very natural sentimental ladies who used to cry leaving son or grandson, sending him or her abroad whenever, but she was a very mature lady. So while writer here writes that she was not even sentimental, he actually shows that how great she was. She came to leave me at the railway station but did not talk or show any emotional. She was a very brave woman. Her lips moved in prayer, her mind was lost in prayer. Her fingers were busy telling the beads of her rosary. It was a regular practice. Please remember this. It was a regular practice to count the rosary beads. Okay. Her lips moved in prayers, her mind was lost in prayer, her fingers were busy telling the beads of her rosary. It was a regular practice. Silently she kissed my forehead, and when I left, I cherished the moist imprint as perhaps the last sign of physical contact between us. But that was not so. Somewhere he was slightly apprehensive. Author was slightly apprehensive regarding this, that when I'll come back, maybe I'll not be able to see her again. So he was a bit apprehensive for that. So the moist he felt over his forehead when grandmother kissed, he thought that it is the last physical contact that I'm getting from my grandmother. But it was not so. When he came back after 5 years, okay, and was met by her at the station, she did not look a day older, means she was looking as usual. Not a single change, not a slightest change were there. She still had no time for words, and while she clasped me in her arms, I could hear her reciting her prayers. Again, she is doing the same thing, reciting her prayers. See, in the same paragraph, we saw that how she left author with moist kiss over his forehead, and at that time also she was reciting prayer. How did she received him? Again with prayers. Even on the first day of my arrival, her happiest moments were with her sparrows, whom she fed longer and with frivolous rebuks. See, when she was in village, she was attached to dogs. Now when she is in city, she is attached to sparrows. Remember this, okay? It is her daily routine to give breadcrumbs to sparrows. In city life, sparrows; in village life, dog. So these are the word meaning: sentimental, beads, cherished, moist, imprint, claps, frivolous, rebuck. Yes. In the evening, a change came over her. She was very silent. She speaks very less. She only used to count the rosary beads. But in evening, what happened? A change came to her. She did not pray. She did not pray. She collected the women of the neighborhood, got an old drum, and started to sing. Actually, it was not very usual to author and author's parents, mother and father, but she did something very different that day. She did not pray. She collected the women of the neighborhood, got an old drum, and started to sing. She started to sing. For several hours, she thumbed the sagging skin of the dilapidated drum and sang of the homecoming of warriors. Whenever warrior home come, lok geet, you can say that she was singing that. We had to persuade her to stop to avoid overstraining. They were well aware that she is very old, and if she will do like this, then definitely she'll be strained out. So they persuaded her, please do not do such things. It will give you strain. That was the first time since I had known her that she did not pray. For the first day, she did not pray, and after that also. The next morning, she was taken ill consecutively because she was so harassed on that day. Or you can say that, see, if you'll see it emotionally, you will feel that perhaps she was only waiting for her grandson. She was only waiting for the grandson. She was so much attached to him that she was waiting for the grandson. When he arrived, she showed her enthusiasm, and next morning she became ill. Okay, it was a mild fever, and the doctor told us that it would go. Doctor said that it's a very mild fever and it will go with time, by time. But my grandmother thought differently. She told us that her end was near. She understood that yes, it is my end and it is very near. She said that since only a few hours before the close of the last chapter of her life, she had omitted to pray, she was not going to waste any more time talking to us. How intelligent and how brave, you must say, that she said that yes, I understand that very well, that now I have few hours left with me, so I don't want to waste my time talking to you people. I know you are all well and healthy, so let me do the prayers. We protested, but she ignored our protests. She lay peacefully in bed, praying and telling her beads. Even before we could suspect, her lips stopped moving and the rosary fell from her lifeless finger. A peaceful pallor spread on her face, and we knew she was dead. It was her end. Don't you think that she was only waiting for grandson? Yes. We lifted, now it's very important. We lifted her off the bed as it customary, laid her on the ground and covered her with red shroud. It's a custom. We keep dead body below. After a few hours of mourning, we left her alone to make arrangement for her funeral. Left dead body alone to make her arrangement of her funeral. In the evening, we went to her room with a crude stretcher to take her to cremated. Kriyakaram. The sun was setting and had lit her room and veranda with a blaze of golden light. We stopped halfway in the courtyard. All over the veranda and in her room, right up to where she lay dead and stiff wrapped in red shroud. See, remember this, thousands of sparrows sat scattered on the floor. They left her to do the rituals, to do the necessary things. But when they entered, they found that she has been surrounded by thousands of sparrows. There was no chirping. It's very, very, very amazing that the very natural instinct of sparrows is to chirp. But thousands of sparrows were there, but there was no chirping. It means that even sparrows, they were mourning on her death. We felt sorry for the birds, and my mother fetched some bread for them. Now it was the duty of grandmother to fetch bread to them. Them refers to sparrows. Okay, them refers to sparrows. She broke it into little crumbs. Here, who is she? She is mother of author. The way my grandmother used to, and threw it to them. The sparrows took no notice of the bread when we carried grandmother's corpse off. They flew away quietly. They flew away quietly. Next morning, the sweeper swept the breadcrumbs into the dustbin. It means sparrows were there, they were given food, but they did not take the notice of that. So, you might have understood this, that it's a way of showing disappointment, or you can say that it's just a way from animal side, from sparrow side, to displaying this sorrow on death of grandmother. They were silent. So the question actually often arrives from here, that we'll do the question answer later. So what we have seen in this particular chapter, where there are few points that we have seen. It's a chapter about village life versus city life. Village, what was there in village? She was surrounded by dogs, temple, and here she was all alone actually, Yes, sparrows were there in last. Okay, but earlier she was she was all alone. Alone means she didn't get that environment. Okay, and what else? What else this chapter? Sketch of grandmother. So your homework is to actually tell me what is portrait, why this chapter has been named as portrait of grandmother. Okay, what do you understand or mean with the term portrait? Portrait of grandmother. You have to fill every detail in that. Means, let me tell you what were the details. That physical, how she was, old, old skin, wrinkled skin. What else was there? White hair. And apart from that, you have to tell me nature wise. What was her nature? Nature refers to how sentimental, emotional, brave. These are things that you have to mention. Okay, so this is a homework. I'll send a special PDF for that. So here I end this chapter. In next week, in my given slot, I'll teach you different chapter. Second chapter, we are not afraid to die when we are together. That's all for today. Thank you.